Okay, we're on, but I don't think that our camera is plugged in. Working. Hold on a second.
Oh, I thought it was on the right camera. I definitely want it to be on that one today. There you go.
That's it?
Yep. I'll turn the overhead light on as I go.
All right, good. All right, sorry about that, you guys. A little bit late. Welcome. It's Mark coming to you from Baker's Green Acres, and tonight is the Tuesday night edition of the Anyone Can Farm Experience live chat. Tuesday night, ladies' night. Ladies' night. Let's see. Today would be July 2nd, 2024. And I'm going to be having kind of a short show tonight because it's Frank's, my youngest son's 13th birthday. But I thought I could pop on real quick. They're in there yucking it up, eating cake and all that stuff. But I thought I could pop on real quick and talk a little bit about the things that are coming up. We have Tribe Day coming up on the 13th, 14th, and 15th. So that is what? Not this weekend, but the weekend following. So this weekend is going to be a little bit jammed up because we have the 4th of July on Thursday. And then let's see, after that, we have a pastured poultry day on the 27th of July. This is different than the other one that we just did. This one is strictly processing. So we don't look at anything except birds in cages, and then we go straight to processing. It's a half a day, and it's just for the person that hasn't processed poultry before, that wants to learn how to do it from people that know what they're doing, right? We process a lot of birds around here, so we kind of know that whole process. So 4th of July is coming up, and I think it's significant this year. I have some things that I've been thinking of, and let's just see if it turns out the way I think it's going to turn out. We're starting to see a lot of breakdowns on the other side, right? The side that is the controlling, parasitic side of government. And it's breaking down. It's breaking down before our eyes. It didn't start with last Thursday night's debate. It started before that. But keep in mind that those people, the people that say the left team, they're very pro-big government, pro-control, pro-abortion, so pro-death. They're pro-war. They're pro-open borders. They're pro-drugs in the country. All the things that are not productive to American society. And one of the other things that's productive to American society at the fundamental level is food production, farming, right? And I think that if you did a poll at the Department of Agriculture, you'd find most of them are Democrats, leftists, Democrat, socialist, communists, right? Or else they wouldn't be where they are. I think that we would find that. I know that they are definitely part of the meritocracy that has really done a number on this country. But it became evident that that whole thing is just imploding. And now we're starting to see the networks throw the Democrat Party under the bus, or the Biden administration, they're throwing them under the bus. And so it is coming apart. And about the only thing that I've seen positive lately is a warning from the Kremlin. And I'm not sure if it's legit or not, but I've seen it several different places that says that they're going to unleash the bird flu on the American public prior to the election. So the way it looks right now is Trump's going to take back control. And it really seems to me like this was a controlled crash. You know, you can't tell me that the Biden people thought that Joe would maybe do a good job there Thursday night. I don't believe that. I think they knew he was going to fall on his face, but 90 million people watched him do it. That's what they're saying, or 100 million people watched him do it. So a lot of people are all of a sudden, that's our guy? And they didn't even know. And when you watch Trump, he wasn't in true form, but he was pretty good. He kind of kept it low key. So, but since then, every day things are just deteriorating on their side, and the Republican side is actually being forced to the place where they have to say, yeah, one of the worst things that that Americans face is over-regulation. And then there was another case that was decided yesterday. I don't know the full ramifications of this yet. I heard about it from a lady that's a lawyer that we're seeing right now for something else, you know, some estate planning, will type stuff, but she seems to be in the know. And it's called the Chevron doctrine that was blown to smithereens by the Supreme Court. And what that is going to indicate is that the departments that seem to be running our lives are not going to have near the bite that they did, and they're going to be very vulnerable to the citizenry for any damage that they cause. Right? And I don't know all there is to know about that. I know I may not be explaining it perfectly because I don't really know all the ins and outs of it yet, but I'm gonna find out about it this week, which I think puts us as homesteaders and small farmers at a place where maybe we're going to get an indication that it's time to put the pedal to the metal as far as production goes and our farms. I have for a long time, I know what my eyes see, but what my gut feels, right? And there are people that I don't feel real good about them. Like when I think about them, I get a gut feeling that's not good. With the situation that's going on in our country right now, my gut feeling is things are going to break open, and those of us that are involved in small farming, there will be no more, oppression. I don't think it exists right now anyway, and I've told you guys that. More and more, when I'm hearing testimony before Congress, you hear senators and representatives using, well, that's not constitutional, or that's a violation of the Fourth Amendment. And I mean, this is just in a couple of weeks that I'm hearing this. So if we have a big shift of people over to what I talked to you last week about, the original contract is between the citizenry and government, and that contract is the U.S. Constitution. It's what they can't do and what we can do as a group. Because we've seen, the framers of the Constitution had seen this before. They had seen local, state, and federal governments get out of control, drunk with power. And that's kind of where they are now. So this script that we're watching play out in front of us over the next however long it's going to be, up till the election probably, who knows what twists and turns it's going to take. But my gut is telling me that we need to be prepared. And that means putting our, excuse me, I just ate a lot of cake, putting our farms together the best we can, doing as much as we can while we can, because we know winter's coming, right? And so who knows, maybe there'll be some rough times getting there, but it looks like their side is just deteriorating right before our eyes. And I think what we see on their side, what manifests is, the pro-abortion, pro-death really is what it is. The pro-war, the homosexuality, the transgenderism. I mean, we didn't even know what that was 2 years ago. I think that, and let's see what else. The drugs, the open borders, the anti-Christian or the anti-religious. They are so anti-religion, right? And a lot of them, a lot of Democrats, you have to force them to own this stuff. You support it. That's you. Is that what you're saying? So say it, own it. And it's coming down to that. And that seems to be, to me, very consistent with what Q said many years ago. A time is coming where these people will not be able to walk the streets. So I think it's happening. And Jill and I were on the way up to the UP. It's a 5-hour drive. We were going last Thursday when that speech was going on, or that debate was going on. I couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it that they allowed him to go out there and do that. But nobody wants to be hitched to that anymore, and it seems like they really don't have anybody else. Okay, David Duncan saying, Whitmer the Gretsch called Michigan ground zero, and she told the White House that Biden cannot win Michigan. Well, I think what she was saying, David, was, I'm not going to risk my neck cheating again for you, because the Democrats have put him out there. They did that. They put him on that stage. And then the media steps back and says, oh, did you see that? I can't believe that happened. Give me a break. We all knew that Sleepy was having a rough time for a long time, and it's likely to get worse. So anyway, you can't tell me the Democrat Party is that inept that they wouldn't have a plan B or somebody on the bench that they could put in. They should, if they're professional politicians, which they are, and they have nobody to put in. They're floating the name Whitmer. Come on. I watched Bill O'Reilly last night, and I kind of like Bill O'Reilly. I've listened to him for a long time, and he said the only person that could possibly win would be Michelle Obama. Big Mike. But there's problems there. And the only reason why she or he or whatever it is would win is because just the extreme hatred of the people who support Trump. That's really what it is. They hate people who support Trump. They hate us, right? But they're very few, and they always resort to cheating and lying and stealing. It's the parasite class. It's absolutely the parasite class. They don't have to stay that way. They can come on over to our side if they want, but they choose to be there, and there's a lot less of them than we think. They're always trying to build their numbers by, letting, whatever. They're always trying to build their numbers. But I think that they can't fool people any longer. COVID was their best attempt. And now what? They're going to do the bird flu. I just heard at dinner, my daughter is married to a guy whose parents own a big confinement milking operation. And they're also big into the 4-H youth show, they call it. And we don't participate in the youth show because it's make-believe. It's total make-believe world. You raise up a pig, and then the pig goes up for auction, and the people in this community, they bid on each other's kids' animals, and they run it way up. So sometimes a steer will go for $5,000. You know, it's make-believe. So the kids get a big chunk of money, and they believe that a steer is worth $5,000. And I don't know. We just don't participate in it because we're not, mostly because we're not from here, and there's really nobody to bid on my kids' stuff. So my kids would get market price or not. And so we just did it for a while, and then this is not good. But every person who wants to put a steer or a milk cow in the youth show has to have it tested for bird flu. So my daughter's parents-in-law have a big farm. They milk like 1,000 cows probably. And if they were to test positive on one of these steers, it could create huge problems with their milk and their big farm operation. And so the youth show is run by the extension service, which is the extension of the university. So they're going to play along with the bird flu game. And so they're going to pressure the farmers that come through there that, well, you can't come here unless you get the bird flu check. So that just shows you that if they had the authority to force you to get your cattle checked, they would. But no, they're going to hold out a carrot in front. You want to come to the youth show? Sort of like, you want to get on this airplane? Then you have to be x-rayed. You know, they're going to play that game. It's questionable to see how far it will go. I don't think most of these farmers are going to fall for it. Most of them will say, then the hell with your youth show. We just won't do it. We just won't participate. And if you do it, we'll never come again. That's what they should say. You play this game with us this time, we're never coming again. We're pulling out. You can just roll it up and take it away. So we'll see what happens. But I'm still optimistic. I've remained optimistic this whole time. And I really can't stay long tonight, but I just wanted to pass on this feeling that I've gotten. I went up to UP for a wedding, the Upper Peninsula. It's 5 hours away. And I got to see a lot of country going up through there. And I got to think plenty too. And I really believe that for those of us that choose to see the good in what's happening around us, we're in a lot better shape than we think. Now, what do I mean by that? The best way I can explain that is when I was a little kid, my father was the manager of the electric light department. So when we would have bad storms, I lived in the Northeast, and we would have nor'easters. And when that was coming, my father knew that he was going to be out. And he had to oversee all the outages and get them back online. And he would say, "You want to go?" And I think when it first started, he just said, "Come on." And then I wanted to go. And I was with him, so I felt very secure. But it was just broken trees and power lines down and just a mess everywhere. But I wasn't scared. So I got used to adverse conditions, even, worse than that. I got used to it. And you could all of a sudden, you can see opportunity in it. there's opportunity here, there, the other. And, you'd watch as like the tree companies would come out and they would be cutting trees up and doing all that stuff. Opportunity awaits. So as we see this bird flu thing on the horizon, as we talked about last week, a lot of people are going to fall for it. You can explain it to them, but they're going to fall for it anyway. It's just the nature of the beast. Now is the time to put the pedal to the metal on your cow milking operation. Don't worry about what they say. So you've got the Fourth Amendment that protects you, keeps them off of your property. We will talk about that more. Tribe Day's coming up. I'm going to do a block of instruction about 2 hours long, talking about how to exercise your constitutional rights. I'm real good at this by this point. So my message is, now is not the time to hold back. Now is not, because everybody is holding back. Just see what happens. No, go for it. That's what I'm doing. I'm going for it. Today, we had an appointment in town. This is just a little off story, and then I got to get going. We went into town, and we were a little bit early for our appointment. So we went into a coffee shop to get a cup of coffee. There's some people sitting there. They definitely didn't look like they were from around here, just the way they were groomed and dressed and everything like that. They're both on laptops, man and a woman. And I was up there getting my coffee, and the place was empty. And I said, anybody looking for raw milk? And both their heads swung right to me with big grins on their face. Yeah. Have you got a dairy? And I said, I do. And we got to talking. They had come here from someplace else. One came from Ann Arbor and the other one came from Minnesota, I think, in the city. And I said, my standard line, oh, so you guys are refugees, huh? They're moving out of the cities, coming out here into the perimeter. And they come out here looking for work. They're letting their lifestyle go, the meritocracy that I talked about. Like, they have big time degrees and, the accolades and everything from universities, but they're saying, I'm going out to the country and I'm going to make it out there. We're seeing this more and more. And I'm not seeing people that are being forced out. I'm seeing people that are saying, you know what, I don't want this. I'm going out there, right? And that was these people. So they're going to come to the farm this weekend, so we get to meet them. But it was just a bright light. It was a bright sign that I saw, and I just thought it was really good. I thought I'd pass it on. So real happy about that. We are working on the milk house this week. We got the concrete down last Thursday during the day, got the drains in, and we're starting to build the walls out now. So very happy about the progress that we're making. Should be cutting hay, but it's raining too much. So I'm going to put it off until after Tribe Day and then get all the hay in there. All right. I got to go, you guys. Let's see. Happy birthday to the legend from the Barn Geek. Okay, Audubon is with us. Yeah, it'd be funny if Whitmer. Cavi is on he's had to take a week off because they do a get together with his grandparents every summer. So they do it during this time. So he will be back next Saturday, I think. So we haven't seen Cubby for a couple of days. All right. Time for free men to put the pedal to the metal. Right on. Nick Arthur. Talk about something you like on the farm. I really love it when people tell me what to talk about on my show. Why don't you find somebody else to listen to? Nick, take a powder. All right. Okay. That's it, you guys. I got to get going. If anything turns up, I'll make a personal video. If not, I'll be seeing you next Tuesday. All right.